friends. Welcome back to my channel. I am Neva. This is Reading with Neva, and today we're going to do a little bit of something different. So I had everyone, um, I posted late last night, like when you're watching this, it is Wednesday. And I had y'all vote really quick just on what cozy game you'd like to watch me play. So this is a screen recording, and I am like recording it off of the audio on my iPad. If we hate that, then next time I do this, I can use an actual microphone. Um, but it's a lot of work to set up my camera to do like a true whip and chat. So I thought we would do a cozy game and chat today and see how that works for us. So the game that y'all voted for is Good Coffee, Great Coffee. Unfortunately, you're not gonna be able to see my hands. Um, I'm in the process um, of getting some equipment that will allow me to film a whip and chat the way that I would like to, or not whip and chat, a like game and chat or like planning videos the way I'd like to. Um, but for today, we're gonna play Good Coffee, Great Coffee. This is by the same people that made Good Pizza, Great Pizza. And yeah, it's just the coffee version instead of the pizza version. I can play the pizza version at a different time, but this is the one that y'all voted for, so this is the one we're gonna play. I'm on day 153, and I'm just gonna walk you through like the different things that I do and check throughout the game. But we are going to talk about lots of things today. We're going to do a little bit of a life update and let's see what quests we have today. Okay. Um, anyway, we're going to do a little bit of a life update and we're going to do some other things that are fun, whatever. So we'll do a life update. We'll talk about what's been going on. And then we'll do our usual like currently reading, watching, listening to. And I'm going to add a gaming as well. So a playing section to this as well. Yeah. So I'm gonna see throughout this if I'm able to kind of when I don't usually edit these videos, I will be really honest. Um, but I may go in and like impose like book covers and stuff like that if I find that that's a relevant thing to do. So we're gonna start playing and chit-chatting. So hopefully there's no sound on with this. Let me just double check. I don't think there is. No. Okay. I turned the sound off. Okay. So hello, friends. How are we? I am okay. I'm hanging in. Um, Life behind the scenes has been a little bit chaotic. And I don't really want to get into it right now about what that is looking like. I know that's a little like elusive. Um, But even though I do share a lot, okay, chocolate delight. I do share a lot here on the internet. There's just some things that I think it's better if I keep to myself for right now. So that's what we're going to do. I have to look up what this recipe is because I don't have it in my planner yet. Ooh, the Neapolitan. Okay. Chocolate delight is a cold drink. Chocolate syrup, whole milk, espresso, whipped cream, and chocolate chips and cocoa powder. Okay, so it's just basically like chocolate milk. Okay, with espresso. Okay. Anyways, also I'm sorry for all the sniffling. I have a bit of allergies going on. The weather decided to go from like snow to um it went from like snow to like super warm, and my allergies are not dealing with that very well. Okay, and then we do whole milk, right? And then chocolate chips and cocoa powder. Okay, that looks awesome actually. Um, so anyhow, okay, apparently he didn't like it. I'm gonna actually maybe open it up. Okay, vanilla latte. This is easy enough to do. I might have forgotten an ingredient. I don't know. Anyways, so this is my brain when I play this game, y'all. Um, but as far as things for, the YouTube channel and everything like that, I am getting myself back on track with that. I know it's been a little bit chaotic, how I've done that. So last week the kids had spring break, and with them having spring break, it was a little bit harder for me to film anything that wasn't like vlog clips, because when Ari is home from school, and the thing with spring break is some of her friends leave with their families and like go on vacations, even though she's in second grade. So she doesn't always have the option of going outside. Plus, she was sick with like a cold cough thing for the first like 2.5 days of spring break. Um, and so let's see, it was hot. Okay. And so I didn't really I was doing a lot of like admin things behind the scenes, but I also just treated spring break like reading was my job instead of like making the content. I really made no content other than I do have a vlog that can go up for um Patreon. I just have to run through it one more time. And then I just want everyone to know that my TBR for March will not be going up. And the reason is because I had posted on Instagram that it was going to be late, and to disregard any of the Sophie Lark books that that I had on my TBR. So thought I only had one Sophie Lark book on my TBR. I actually had four. And because of that, and by one, I mean that I had one whole series, because I have a series that I own by Sophie Lark that I've only read the first book. And so I was going to reread the first book and read the second. But with everything that came out about Sophie Lark, and honestly, her like apology statement didn't sit super well with me. I was like, I'll just put out a thing saying like I'm no longer reading these books, which I did do. But the problem is that I had so many. Is it Sonella? Okay, wait. Yeah, okay. I had so many books by Sophie Lark on my TBR that it was about half of my TBR. Of course, when I made the TBR, I didn't know that this, I don't know what their problem is today. Um, when I did this TBR, I didn't know um, that this was an issue. I've since removed the books that I need to read by Sophie Lark from my TBR, and I've also removed them from anywhere that you'd be able to see them if I'm filming a video, um, because they had been just sitting like on my shelf. And like that's fine, that I had to do that, but I can't. Okay, this is a terrible day of playing. I don't know what's going on. My mom used to say, okay, so chocolate latte. I'm wondering why they are throwing a fit. Um, anyhow, I yeah, so I removed all of the books that I had from Sophie Lark, um, from my TBR, from all of my TBRs. So 3, 4. I don't even have Sophie Lark like on like a TBR list anymore. She's just been okay, thank you. She's just been completely removed at this point. Um, but it made it so that I was just going to do a disclaimer at the beginning of the video and say like, "Hey, sorry friends, I didn't know about this with Sophie Lark. It came out after I had filmed. I will not be reading the book that's on here." However, because there were four, I decided to just scrap the TBR for the month, which is fine. I'm not mad about it. So there will be an April TBR video that comes out. Um, but I'm not going to even mess with like having to caveat or disclaim or anything for my um my March TBR, I'm just gonna call it a day, and it is what it is, you know? So there's no March TBR coming out this month, but I probably will do some kind of a wrap up. And then I do have a fun video that is like featuring Realmathon. I was trying to figure out how exactly to incorporate Realmathon content. And so we're doing like switching screen time with reading time this week. And that's how I'm incorporating Realmathon content, because Realmathon is a very um, mood reader friendly thing. So it really doesn't matter what I read, it will count for Ramathon. So that is that. That is really, I think that's really all as far as like life update stuff. I'm just out here, and Brittany and I started a fun Monday morning show that goes up every Monday, and it's called Not Enough Spoons for Monday. I will have it linked down below so you can go and follow that if you want to. Like I said, it comes out every single Monday, and or at least we're going to try to do every Monday. Of course, we have kids, life happens. Sometimes we might miss a week here or there, but for the most part, it will come out every Monday. And it's just our time. We hang out, we talk. It's like having coffee with your friends. You know what I'm saying? So we have coffee, we chit chat, we do all the things. I am trying to figure out how to get it onto an RSS feed. So strawberry latte, strawberry fresh with Myrtle Beach. Okay. Um, I'm trying to figure out how to get it onto an RSS feed so that we can um you can actually listen to it as like a true podcast. Um, I know how to strip the audio for it. I just need to figure out how to make it so that it's like a seamless thing. So that's that. So I am working on that. And I also am working on some merch. I have to send over the link for that to Brittany. Of course, there's no obligation to purchase merch. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. Of course, like I said, there's no obligation to buy merch. Honestly, I think that the merch idea came because Brittany and I kind of wanted merch. Um, so we're gonna do that. We'll have hoodies, t-shirts, crew necks, and then they do have a coffee mug on Bonfire as well. So I'm gonna have all of that for you. So if you want to wear not wear. If you want a coffee mug instead of something else, I'm probably gonna order a coffee mug, put my bookmarks in it, because I actually have a coffee mug that I got made special that's like double-sided. Unfortunately, the Bonfire ones are only single-sided printed, so I have one that's coming from Etsy that is double-sided printed so that I can hold it either way, and then that will be my coffee mug that I only use for the show. So that is that. So if you haven't watched that yet, like I said, it will be linked down below and you can go watch it. Um, we're having so much fun with it and people really seem to like it. So thank you to everyone that's been watching it. It means so much to us, truly. Okay, strawberry syrup. One, two, three, four. I just have this like other cup just like sitting here hanging out. Whole milk. One, two, three, four, five, six. And then espresso, whipped cream, and strawberries. Okay, so let's talk about what I'm reading, watching, listening to, and playing. So we're gonna start with reading. I do have quite a few books on my currently reading if you follow me on Storygraph. But we're going to talk about it because I think I have 8 books, yeah, on my Storygraph. But we're going to talk about the ones that I'm actually reading because I'm only reading about four, to be really honest. Chocolate latte, in the heat with ice. Okay, so an iced chocolate latte. Okay. So let's talk about the arc that I'm reading. So this is just sometimes y'all get a little bit of like behind the scenes information that I haven't necessarily shared with the world yet, but I have a special thing coming out that has to do with arcs. It's similar to KU Clean Out, but that's all I'm really going to share about it um, right now, just because I kind of want it to be a little bit of a surprise. One, two, three, four. I kind of want it to be a little bit of a surprise, so I'm going to kind of keep it a little bit guarded. Um, but the arc that I'm currently reading is called Somebody's Someone, and this is by Linda Oatman High. It's 188 pages, and it is a middle grade book um, about some hard topics. Let's see, two lattes, one chocolate, and then a side of espresso. Okay, so we're gonna do the lattes first, I think. Anyway, because we need espresso for all of these. Anyways, so I have started this book, and it appears that we are. Oh shoot, I messed that. It appears that we are following a young girl. I think she is supposed to be like 12 or 13. I could be wrong. I don't know that we actually have an age. Like, I don't know that we've actually been given like an age for this girl yet. But she's supposed to be relatively young, middle grade age. So I would assume 12 or 13. Her mother has gone missing. And her mom struggles with drug addiction. I actually think that they told me in this that she's 12. I'm actually going to check because I think that she makes a comment about how her aunt takes care of her because she's 12 and supposedly can't take care of herself. Yeah, it says, well, actually, she takes care of me even when mama's not missing on account of the fact that I'm only 12 and supposedly can't take care of myself. So the sass in this is very 12-year-old sass, and very much like 12-year-old who's always had to take care of herself. And that makes me actually so sad because I do relate to like the parentification that can happen with parents that struggle with mental health or with addiction or whatever. I do identify with that. So this has been a very interesting read. I think it's going to be relatively heavy. The way that I judge middle grade books, because obviously I am not a middle grade person, I'm not a middle grade reader. Most of the time, I love to read a good middle grade, but the way that I rate these is a different kind of scale because I rate it based off of whether I would personally give it to a 12 or 13-year-old who is struggling with what is happening and if I think that it's relatable to that. So I kind of put myself in the shoes of the middle grader that would be reading it and judge it that way. So far, I'm having a really good time with this. A mocha. Okay, this is a chocolate latte with whipped cream and cocoa powder. Okay. Anyway, I'm having I don't want to say a good time because like the content of it is so heavy that I don't know that it's necessarily like a good time. Um, but I'm having a time with it. It's a good read. I'm not hating it or anything like that. Um, and yeah, I'm enjoying what I'm reading. Two, three, four. But I'm enjoying what I'm reading of it so far. So that is the arc I'm reading. I am then reading for KU Cleanout. I'm reading Break the Girl by Rachel Jonas and Nikki Thorne. So I am 6% into Somebody's Someone. I should have said that. And I am 20% into Break the Girl. This is the first book in the Savage Kings of Bradwin U series. And it is a like a why choose dark hockey bully romance. The men in this are savages, like that's what they go by is the savages, and they truly are pretty terrible people. They're very morally gray. I think that we one of our characters, there's a character in here, the female main character watches a man like on the internet. It's like a very OF feeling kind of thing. It's like a an online stream, right? And she makes comments about like how beautiful he is and everything, but you never see his face. And I think that we might find out that he is one of the savages. I just have a feeling of that. But that is what yeah, I'm reading that for Kindle Unlimited Clean Out. I'm really enjoying it. I'm having honestly the best time with it. It's like the perfect amount of like dark with we haven't gotten a lot of hockey, so I could, if we don't get a lot of hockey, especially because this is being advertised as a dark hockey romance, and like it's very obvious that it's hockey, but we haven't actually seen them on the ice yet. We are getting multiple POVs. I think we get all of their POVs, so like all three men and then our female main character, but her point of view is the most prominent. I will say that. I'm just gonna make sure this is still recording. Hers, however, is the most prominent voice. So I am enjoying that aspect of this book. Um, but we do get snippets of the other men that are like of the men that are in this book as well. So there is that. Like I said, I am enjoying this one. But I think if we don't get more hockey, I may start to kind of fall off of this because the thing with a hockey romance for me is that I need to have he and it needs to be relatively prominent in the book. Um, just because, like, if you're telling me that this man, one, two, three, four, is plays hockey, I want to feel that. Um, so that's gonna be really my only gripe is if we don't get some more hockey in this book. Then I am finishing Small Favors. I'm almost done with that. This is a book for Leandra's vlog. My I have a series on my channel called Reading My Friends' Favorite Books. Um, and this is one of the books that Leandra gave me. I'm not going to talk about it here, but I am about 50% through this, so I will be finishing that actually after I get off of here. And then I'm also reading Hopeless and Final Offer. Oops. Hopeless, oops, is a book by Colleen Hoover. This is one of the last series. I have two series by Colleen Hoover that I still need to finish, and this is one of them. So this is also on my 2025 self-destruct. I'm not very far into this one, so I can't really give you a lot of like what this book is about or how I'm feeling about it. Um, but so far it's been fine. And then Final Offer is the third book in the Dreamland Billionaires series. This one is following Cal and Alana, Callahan and Alana, and Callahan is the last brother in this series. He is the one that struggles with addiction. I don't really want to go too far into like his lore and stuff just because it is the third book in the series. Um, and truthfully, there's just so much that's happening. What is a chocolate delight? Oh, this is the iced one. But does it have espresso in it? Um, espresso, whole milk, chocolate syrup, whipped cream, chocolate chips, cocoa powder. Okay. 6 parts of whole milk. Okay. But no ice. Okay. Um, yeah, I don't want to go too far into the lore just because this is the third book in a series. And this is a series that, in my opinion, you have to read all three. I think technically she wrote them as standalones, but nothing is explained to you as far as like the will. So I'll just say, um, I'll share about I'm so sorry. I have to keep looking at this recipe because I don't have this recipe written down. Um, okay, chocolate syrup and then whole milk, 6 parts. Okay. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four, five, six. Espresso. Um, what was I saying? I do not even remember. Let me think. Okay, so in the first book, we are told about the will that is left. So this series is like Dreamland is like a spoof of Disney, right? Of like Disney World or Disneyland. Um, And are the brothers, I can't remember all their names. Rowan is the youngest. Um, Declan is the oldest, and then Cal or Callahan falls in the middle. So Fine Print is the first book that is following. We know what the will says in that book and what each brother has to fulfill. So in the first one, Rowan has to hire a new creator, and in hiring this new creator, they need to come up with a new attraction or ride. So we see him doing that in that book. In terms and conditions, Declan, his fulfillment for to get his inheritance is to marry and produce an heir. And then in final offer, we're following Cal, and he has to sell a house that his grandfather had, but first he has to actually in order to do so, he has to make amends with an old childhood love, right? So, um, that is what we're following in the third book, and in my opinion, you need to read at least the first book. I mean, I guess you could skip terms and conditions, but I feel like to understand like what's happening across the board and like how they need to fulfill will, their grandpa's will, you need to read the entire thing, in my opinion. I don't feel like this is really a collection of like interconnected standalones where you can skip the first book, because otherwise you don't have any basis for like what's happening. She said a mocha, right? So does she still want the powder? I'm just gonna give it to her. Because you won't have any basis for what is going on as far as like the will and like what grandpa said that they need to do. So I'm reading that. I'm 27% through that one. I am reading that one physically. And then Hooked, I'm working on this one very slowly. This one's going to be like months long. I'm doing a reread series on my channel this year where every 3 months we're going to talk about the rereads that I've done. So far I've only done one, which was Pucking Sweet. And then I had people vote. Two iced lattes. Okay. I had people vote on the next one that I was going to read, and people voted for Hooked by Emily McIntyre. So I am working through that book, but it's very slow going because I am annotating as I go. My annotations are just me tabbing like quotes and stuff that I have like enjoyed reading or that stick out to me or whatever. But because I'm doing that, it is taking me quite a bit longer to get through these books. Which honestly is fine. Like I'm not like mad about it. What were these? Regular lattes? Okay. Um, I'm not mad about it or anything like that. It's just gonna take me longer. So I'm probably gonna end up talking about Hooked more than once as I go through. I'm kind of hoping to get it done before um the end of March or the end of April, really, because I'll do it every 3 months. So it'll be any books that I read January to March, but it'll come out in April. But I don't think it's going to happen. So I actually may wait for this series, and I may do this one specifically every 6 months, where we talk about the books that I've annotated, why I annotated them, and all of that. I may actually do it that way, but I will have an updated 25 in 2025 and an updated self-destruct video coming out. Those are going up every quarter, every 3 months, with like how I'm doing on them, how many I've read. I'll also do my 12 books by 12 by 12 recs from 12 friends in that time as well. But I have a couple of different ones that I'm just doing little check-ins for every couple of months, simply because they're books that I want to get read, and I know that if I don't check in, I won't hold myself accountable. So, moving on from reading to watching, I am watching the same things I'm always watching. Currently, we are towards the end of the current season of 90 Day The Last Resort. This show started at the end of 2023 and it came back at the end of 2024. So, this is a spin-off of the 90 Day franchise with couples that are already married. So, these couples are already married. They've been married for like some time. Like we saw them get married on one of the 90 Day Fiance shows. So 90 Day Fiance or Before the 90 Days or um Happily Ever After or whatever, right? So we see them. Give me 1 second. Okay. Strawberry Fresh 3. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, sorry. Somebody walked into the room, so I stopped recording for just, or I stopped talking for just a second, but I kept recording because y'all can see what I'm doing on the screen. So, um, anyhow, let me just make sure this is still recording. I'm so scared it's gonna like stop recording. Okay. Anyways, so these couples have come to the resort to decide if they want to stay married, they want to get divorced, what they want to do. So at the end, there is like a recommitment ceremony. We've seen a couple of couples, we've seen actually two couples already leave before the recommitment ceremony. Um, like we've seen that happen. So at this point, Biniam and Ariella, they left and they decided that they're getting a divorce. As far as I know, like in today's time, they are divorced, but they co-parent for the sake of their child. So they get along for the sake of their child. You see what I'm saying? So there's that. And then we just saw on this week's episode, which was yesterday, we just saw Natalie and I never remember his name. He's such like a bland character to me, like a bland person in the show. I don't remember Josh. I think his name is Josh. But we just saw them leave. Josh ended it with Natalie and basically said, okay, I do have to steam this perfectly, right? Okay. So, Josh said that he just doesn't see a future and that unfortunately he doesn't think he can give Natalie what she wants. I'm a little bit annoyed because we've seen Josh and Natalie since 90 Day the Single Life, because that's when she met Josh. And I'm annoyed with Josh for this because he had time to decide about this years ago. They have been together on and off for 3.5 years. And I just feel like you would have known before that if you didn't foresee a future with her. I don't know. He said that it took like the clarity of going to the resort to really come to terms with it. And like I'll give him that. Um, but I don't know. I'm a little bit annoyed. She seemed okay with it and said like I appreciate your honesty, like for once you're actually being honest, which made me a little sad for her, honestly, that she's felt like this. And I feel like Natalie just she wants, love and marriage and all of that. And so I think that she just really held on to Josh, hoping that he would want the same thing. So I hope that they both find happiness. I also hope Benny and Ariella found happiness as well. Um, they were a couple that I did enjoy watching. Sometimes the two of them kind of annoyed me. Um, but for the most part, like I really did root for them that they would work out. So it makes me sad to like see them getting divorced, but it is what it is, I guess. Um, Balin Out Loud just ended. What was this? Ice Americano? Okay. It just ended last week, and I'm sad that it ended. I loved how it ended, but I really did love that. If you don't know what that show is about, it is about Balin Dupree. She is a um 20 something with who has Tourette's. And she uh started by posting on TikTok. I followed her on TikTok, and then subsequently when I left TikTok, like I stopped really using TikTok. I have it, but I don't use it very often. I started following her on Instagram, but she has a TLC show called Balin Out Loud, and I absolutely love the show. Like it is such a like such a wholesome show, and it's just following like her and her journey with her parents and her siblings. She's got four brothers and a sister, I believe. Oh, I forgot to put strawberries on that. It's okay. Um, four brothers and a sister because there's six of them in total, and I love them. I loved watching her and Colin's relationship develop. I don't know. I loved everything about that show. So those are the two shows I've really been watching, and then of course I watch like all of my true crime stuff. Evil Lives Here has a new season that's out. We just finished up Death by Fame and their new season, so I'm just watching things like that, and then I'm watching the trial of Karen Reed. I don't know if y'all know about this case, but I'll talk about it very briefly. Um, but Karen Reed is a woman accused of running over her boyfriend, who was a cop in Boston, I think. I think he was a Boston cop. And she's accused of killing him with her car, basically hitting him and running over him with her car. And this docu series on Max is just going through her trial and like what she's trying to do. She says that she didn't do it, and she thinks that she's being framed. So it's very interesting to watch because I go back and forth between thinking that she did it and thinking that she didn't, because there are some things that I'm like, well, how would you have known exactly where his body was if you didn't do it? But also like some of the evidence doesn't add up for her to have done it. So I'm very conflicted about whether I think she did it or not. So I'm watching that. So that is basically all that I've been watching. Listening to, I'm obsessed with Kelsey Lamb. I found her on Instagram like a week ago. I'm not even joking, and I'm obsessed with her. I'm obsessed with her. So she is a country singer, and like I said, I found her on Instagram. I feel like a lot of people that sing right now are being discovered that way, and I think that it's awesome that social media has worked out that way. She may have a TikTok, I don't know, but she just had a new song called Tease come out. I absolutely love that song. It is not what you think it is. Please go listen to it. But I'm actually obsessed with her song Second Chances. I'm obsessed with that song. And then I'm also obsessed with, what is this? Chocolate? Okay. One, two, three, four. One, two, three, four. So I'm obsessed with that song. And then I'm also obsessed with her song You Made Me. I absolutely love that song. So those are the two songs, or the three songs really, by her that I've been listening to. Her EP album, like her first album that came out, is awesome. Like I love it. I love all of the songs on that album. Um, but the three that I'm the most obsessed with are those three. So that is what I'm listening to. And then as far as gaming, I've been playing a lot of, oh, I accidentally hit an ad. So we're gonna have to watch the ad. I'm so sorry, friends. But I have been playing Good Pizza, Great Pizza, Good Coffee, Great Coffee, but on my Switch. I've been absolutely obsessed with Wildflowers. I did like a deep dive late last night around, because I made it to like the halfway, not even like the halfway point, but through a bunch. I made it through one whole season. So we've gone from winter to spring at this point. Um, and you live on an island, right? So winter on this island is much different. Oh, I have money for an upgrade. Winter on this island is different than like what it would be like here. So like there's no snow or anything, but it's cold, it's rainy, whatever. So we've gone into spring, or I'm sorry, we've gone from spring to summer. That's where we are. Spring to summer. I haven't hit winter yet. So we've gone from spring to summer. And I was like, I don't feel like it should have been taking me so long to get through some of the quests. Um, but you need money for everything, right? So I did like a deep dive on YouTube with some gamer YouTubers that I have like that I follow that play wildflowers, and I watched some of their like beginner tips. So last night I was like, you know what? I'm not going to hate the smell of lavender, but want to try it in a latte. That makes no sense. Anyways, I decided to go ahead. We're gonna do this last day, and then we're probably gonna be done for today. But let me talk about this wildflowers game. So I will say this: I'm not gonna give any spoilers for this game, but I want you to know that there are heavy topics in this game in case you're not in a headspace to play it. Um, there, you're you do not play as yourself. You play as Tara, and she is going to this island to visit her grandmother who is ill. That's really all I'm going to say about that. And she's there to help her grandma um on her little farm, right? On this island. And you are playing as Tara. This is advertised as a farm sim. I would say it's a life sim because you are doing life things throughout this. And there are some hard things that you deal with, but apparently you can date people in this and you can marry people from what I've seen. So that's like really fun in my opinion. But I will say, oops, I did that in the wrong order, but it's okay. I will say it's hard, and there are some hard things in this game, but it's so fun. But I watched a bunch of beginner tips and I am going to be starting over. I have my other game saved. You can have more than one game going. I think you have up to two games going. So I've decided to start over with a fresh game and follow some of the tips that well, all of the tips really, because most of them are like top 10 tips for beginners for wildflowers. I'm going to follow those tips and see if maybe that makes gameplay a little bit smoother, because if it does, then I will get rid of the original game that I have on my Switch at the moment, just because we love it to be easier. So I've been playing that, and then I've also been playing on my Switch. I've also been playing, what is it called? It's a coffee talk. My brother actually told me to download this game. And it's a life sim, I guess. You are a barista, and to me, it gives like Legends and Lattes vibes, because it's a like it takes place in 2020, so it takes place really like during the pandemic. I don't know if this game came out before the pandemic, so it was like a futuristic game. I'm not sure, but it takes place in 2020, and you are a human barista, and you run an all night coffee shop, and you get to meet all these characters and you make them coffee, but you have control over what kind of life stuff happens, because it really depends on what you make them to drink. So that one has been really fun. The story is fun. Oh, I should have said about Wildflowers that it's fully voice casted, so I do tend to play it with sound on. Um, Even though I am definitely a person who likes to listen to audiobooks read uh, while I read, I will say, oh shoot, I forgot to put strawberry syrup in that. It's okay. One, two, three. Um, anyways, I it's okay. They're just gonna get one without strawberry syrup. It is what it is. Um, but they what was I gonna say? Oh, that one is fully voice casted, so I even though I tend to listen to an audiobook while I'm playing, I will pause the audiobook to listen to them interact with each other. And the sound effects are really nice if you want to just listen to the sound effects. So I've been playing those two games, and then I've also been playing Fae Farm. This is another, I would call it a farm sim. Um, maybe it's a life sim. This one might actually be closer to a life sim. Fae Farm, I haven't delved as deeply into, but I would like to get back into this one. I really have enjoyed playing it. It is. Oh no, I didn't want to do that. Anyway, this one I really do like. It is a farm sim, life sim. I don't know what it would be classified as. It feels more like a life sim to me, just simply because you get to design your own Fae character. You are a little fairy and you go around and you do quests. It's very similar to Wildflowers, but you get to play yourself in Fae Farm. And then I have also been playing Stardew Valley. I feel like everyone knows this one. This is a like I guess like the OG farm sim. And then also Sticky Business, which is where you get to run your own virtual sticker shop. You make stickers and stuff like that, and you package them and you send them off. That one is more of a mindless game. I don't play that one quite as often, but that is really all that I have today, I think. If you want to see me play any of the Switch games that I mentioned, go ahead and like comment down below and I will figure out a way to film it so that we can do that because I think that that would actually be super fun, especially if you want me to play like Wildflowers. Wildflowers I actually do have on my iPad and it plays the exact same on the iPad. So I may do a Wildflowers stream at some point just because I love that game. But um that's really all that I have for today as far as this little cozy game and chat goes. Ari is home from school now, so I'm going to jump off of here. But thank you so much for watching. We're going to get back into the flow of whippin' chats and cozy game and chats, whippin' sings, cozy game and sings, all the things. So let me know what kinds of things you'd like to see me do as far as like cozy era activities while we chat, because I think we could branch out from whippin' chats. So that's all I have for you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe down below, and I will see y'all in the next one. Bye.